Hey everybody, welcome back to a very special episode of Terminus. I am the death metal guy, aka Behead Those Who Insult Slam. The black metal guy could not attend because this is a brutal death metal interview and he's busy hunting boars in the Carpathian Mountains. So last month, we reviewed the second record by Northern Irish brutal death metal band Oncology, entitled Omniversal Antigenesis, and we were tremendous fans of the record. It's a really lively, energetic, brutal death metal record that really avoids a lot of the missteps that you'd commonly associate with the genre, and was incredibly memorable even for my co-host who barely listens to that style at all. So we decided to have an interview with Connor, the guitarist of Oncology. And Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thanks very much for the interview. It's currently 11 at night here.
A little bit of working out our work schedules with the time difference here.
There certainly was, yeah. So, but I normally burn the midnight oil anyway, so it's not unusual for me to be up at this hour.
Well, I'm glad I'm not keeping you from anything too important. So
no, not at all.
So tell me a little bit about Oncology, because I was unfamiliar with you guys until I saw that this record was released. I know that you did your first back in 2016, Infinite Regress. So can you give me a little bit of history as to how you guys got together?
Well, Oncology sort of came to be through myself and the other guitarist who used to be in a band with me called Putrefy. And sort of Oncology came to be through my interest in drum machines and wanting to write faster music than the band we were currently in. Mm-hmm. And I was learning to drum program, and we were basically sort of reverse engineering songs, if you were. We wrote songs in sort of like, drum machine riff format, and then began to sort of, write riffs to that. And we wrote about, I think it was about 3 to 5 tracks, but 3 of those went on to become what would be the Metastasis, just an EP that we recorded at home, and I done the vocals in that. And the bass player of the other band that we were in, he done the bass for it also. And it came to be that I couldn't do those vocals whilst playing the guitar.
I've been there.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. But I done it just to, get the release done and put something out, under Oncology. Those songs were Pride to Oblivion, Beheading of the Prophets, and what was it?
Desolation of Hope, it looks like.
Yeah, I can't even remember. Desolation of Hope, yeah. And those also ended up in Infinite Regress. So, as I said, I couldn't do those vocals. So we put an advert out to get a vocalist. And Jeff applied for that, so I did. And near enough instantly, Jeff was writing patterns for what would become Infinite Regress, which included those 3 songs from the Metastasis. And near enough straight off the back of that, we had previously sent off the Metastasis out to various labels, might add. And Rise and Nemesis took an interest in that, and they wanted the first album, and Jeff had wrote the patterns for Infinite Regress, and near enough straight off the back of that, we were going on tour with Internal Suffering and Omnipotent Hysteria, and that was really cool. But at the same time, we wanted, we always wanted a drummer that could play the style of music.
Yeah.
And there was a period where we had a guy here from Northern Ireland playing the stuff, but it didn't have the same intensity and speed that what it would end up to be as we are today. And so that sort of, after the tour and whatnot, we played, I think it was played in Wales as a drum machine too. I can't even remember. As late as night, not functioning right. But yeah, we played a couple more shows with the drum machine, so we did. And we put out word again for a drummer, and Duru would apply for that. And we would start writing songs together. We wrote those remotely, sending stuff back and forth over the internet, of course.
Yeah.
And riffs, drum patterns, ideas, and you would send, videos back and forth, and essentially Dury would learn the songs to click track, and essentially get on a plane from Romania and come to my house in Northern Ireland, and we rehearsed some songs, and sort of here we are, sort of present day type thing.
Very nice. I've done the email project thing myself, and it's a huge pain in the ass, you know.
Well, yeah, logistics always works against us, so it does, because obviously I'm in Northern Ireland, and Jeff lives. He's just moved. He's just moved from Weymouth to Brighton, and obviously Duru, he lives in Romania, but. We don't let that keep us back. Like, we stay productive, so we do. We've just actually recorded a lot of stuff for playthroughs and jam videos for the new album.
I gotcha. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so, it is cool. Like,
so was that break between Infinite Regress and Omniversal kind of more about finding a drummer to really like realize what you wanted to do?
Well, we had a drummer for certain bits in between all that, so we did the same drummer, would you believe? And they sort of came and went, and then came back again, and then he didn't want to do it again, and so on and so forth. But we played a show or two with him, like, but at the same time, you know, it lacked the intensity of the songs. I gotcha.
So coming to Omniversal Antigenesis, once again, want to say really love that record, especially like just never having heard you guys before. I was really excited by, especially just how dynamic it is. You know, a lot of brutal death metal can feel very samey in terms of textures and rhythms, but this is like a really energetic record that's like constantly moving in different directions, but it's not like overly technical. So what kind of went into the building blocks of that record? Like, what did you learn from the first one that you expanded upon here?
I think with Omniversal Antigenesis, pretty much in the music side of things, there's like a nod to just about every fucking cool band that I can think of. Like, in some shape or fashion, like, it might not be obvious to other listeners, but I can hear them, and sort of
give me some examples. Like, because I heard a lot of like Internal Suffering, obviously, a lot of Cryptopsy,
really?
Yes, yeah, definitely some Cryptopsy just in the tremolo riffs that you do, especially those like high-end obnoxious tremolo riffs, sort of like Whisper Supremacy type stuff.
Nice, cool.
And some cerebral effusion here and there, stuff like that.
Nice. Well, I like that you hear that. We've heard all sorts of bands that we sound like in the reviews. Did we hear with from Vader to Hate Eternal to Origin? And what, you know, that's the cool thing about music, man. That, you know, that people hear different things, you know, and you know, they take, you know, it's open for interpretation, and it always is that, you know. So, and you know, just like yourself, you're hearing Cryptopsy and that, but you know. For me, you know, I listened to none of those bands, and like, you know, it was all sort of Suffocation and Disavowed, and you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
The first Disavowed is probably one of my favorite brutal death records of all time. So
yeah, it's fucking superb, isn't it? I saw them, and we played a show with them in Germany, and
that's awesome.
Man, it takes a lot to put my mouth on the fucking floor. Like, fucking hell, they were fucking amazing. Like,
that's awesome.
I was saying to Jeff, I was like, holy shit, man, that's fucking amazing.
Oh, that was like the first time I saw Putridity. When I saw them, I was just like, they can't possibly do this at the same speed live, can they? Oh, they do. They do it even faster live. So,
I love it when you go to see a band and it really just kicks your fucking face in. You're like, and you know, it's so good. Like, I saw Internal Bleeding not too long ago. Well,
oh yeah, they're always amazing live.
Well, it was my first time seeing them, and I'm a bit of an Internal Bleeding fanboy. Like, so it was. I made the trek to Manchester to go and see them. Like, and it was fucking outstanding. Like,
yeah, they're a band who are good on record, but way better live. Like, live is the way to see them.
It's fucking God tier, man, isn't it?
Yeah. So, in terms of the writing process, are you the one who's kind of the lead guy and sort of constructing these songs, or is it more of a jam thing? I know you're doing a lot of it via email, but who's kind of taking the lead on structuring these things?
Well, I write the music, so I do, and Jeff writes the lyrics and all the titles, like everything sort of on the literature side of things, that's all Jeff, like,
Yeah.
But musically, it's myself, like, and as I say, it's all written remotely, so I would like have my ideas, and like I would send, what drum patterns I would do my drums at home, and then I would send them to Daru, and then he interprets them, like,
okay,
that kind of thing, like,
Well, I'm really impressed that, given this was all remote, like just how detailed the music is, because, when you're doing stuff remotely, it becomes really easy to fall into just like, fuck the details, let's just like lay out the basics, and then you never come back around to it. But these things sound very live, you know what I mean? They sound like people who have been playing together in the same room a lot. So that really impressed me.
Well, the thing is, like, all the drums on the album, that's all one take. Like,
Really?
Yeah. there's no fucking, in fact, I think there's about there's one fucking cymbal fucking clamp moved in 2 songs.
Okay.
I think so, like, but, like, on recording the album, like, Daru sent us a take, like, of all the songs, and they weren't quite right. And then he came back and he re-recorded the entire thing again. How about these, like, and those are what's on the album today, like, so.
Jesus Christ,
like,
man.
all the music, all my riffs, like, all my riffs, like, where they were recorded at home, like, just, like a DI. And
so this was all just
done
like
click track, and then those were.
So this is all just kind of like home recorded?
They were just recorded. Well, the guitars were DI'd, so they were, and then they were sent off to my friend's studio in Dublin, Track Mix Studio. And he kindly reamped my guitars for me, like through a massive Boogie Joe rectifier, through some nice microphones, and a 5153.
I was about to say, I thought it was like a 5150 or a 5153 that was reamped on it. Yeah,
the Fender one, the Fender one, not the PV one. That
yeah. No, it's you got a great guitar tone, and I think one thing that my co-host especially noticed was especially for something that sounds like a very modern record, a lot of the riffs reach way back into old school death metal. Like I was saying, obviously there's the Suffocation stuff, there's some riffs that are almost like Morbid Angel from time to time, just played way faster and way more extreme. So
I don't know, call me old school, I don't know. I always sort of tend to refer back to older records, like, Suffocation, Effigy of Forgotten, Internal Bleeding, Price of Contempt, Extinction of Benevolence as well. Gorgot's Considered Dead, Erosion of Sanity, Cryptopsy, Blasphemy of Flesh, things like that.
Yeah.
Old sounds, man, like, old records that still, I guess they have an organic sound, like, maybe people don't think we have an organic sound, but what I can say is about our album, like, there's certainly a looser, more human feel to our album. Like,
yeah, there is. It doesn't feel quantized to death.
It's not. It's not at all. I can vouch for that.
You're talking about the drums being done in one take, so yeah, I mean, that's a good reason why this sounds so elegant.
Like, we sort of kept things in, like, and like there's blemishes in it, like, I can hear things like, they're, everyone in any given recording is always going to have their gripes anyway. I don't know about yourself. You said you play in a band. I'm sure you've done recordings where you sort of look back and go, this should have been that, or that should have been that,
Yeah, but then you start to realize that, like, those little mistakes, that human factor is what makes it sound really cool.
Yeah, that's it, like, because if you cast your eye over sort of more modern records, like, they don't have that,
Oh, yeah, they just feel so computerized.
But yeah, if you cast your back to a lot older records and how they sound, if you try to present that sort of more so nowadays, you'd be sort of looked down upon almost, like, it doesn't meet the standard almost, like, so we almost sort of took a step back almost, I guess, like.
No, I think, I mean,
there's an organic thing to it,
Yeah, no, and that's something that I feel like a lot of bands are starting to reach back into these days. Because if you look at, like, a lot of the stuff throughout the 2010s, especially in brutal death metal and kind of styles like that, it just became more and more and more mechanical until it didn't even really, it didn't have the energy of death metal anymore. But your record really has that, which I think is what makes it so distinct amongst, everything else out there.
Yeah, you find a lot of guys in sort of more modern records, like, they break a song down, play it in sections, don't they?
Yeah. And just kind of stitch it together.
Yeah, that certainly happens in modern times, but we didn't do a lot of that, to be fair.
No, I get that philosophy. Like, when I play guitar, I'm not a great guitarist. I mostly play kind of like old school black or death stuff, and when I do that, I try to always record my songs in one shot on guitar, because it has a different feeling than doing roll-ins and kind of piecing it together.
Yeah, there's a certain energy in a one take. I'm actually, as I said, I'm trying to do some playthroughs, and I was doing a song tonight, and I couldn't get it sounding right at all. And as I say, it's in one take, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow, because I think it could sound so much cooler. It's just for that very reason. It has to be done right in one take.
Yeah, definitely put them on YouTube. I'd be happy to. I always like looking at people playing brutal death guitar on YouTube, just so I can be like, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm never going to, but I wish that I could.
Well, it's coming live from my kitchen.
Hey, man, if you get it sound as good as you did, I gotta say, I'm really impressed by just the quality of the recording, especially with it all being a home job. I'm guessing your buddy's studio really did a lot of work on it.
No, well, all the mix I did myself. And
you did that yourself?
Yeah, and it was mastered by Pimpa from Stillbirth at his studio in DPK Studios.
Oh, okay.
In Germany. And he also gave me a couple of pullouts in the mix as well. So he did, he helped tweak a couple of things. So I definitely have to give him a shout out for that. But yeah, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. There was a lot of long nights spent on it, so there was. So
they were spent well, apparently. So how's the reception been to it so far?
It has gone down really. Excuse me. It's gone down really well, and we were sort of, everyone has their hesitations and sort of expectations with a record, and we'd spent so long on it, and we had our reservations about certain aspects of the album. And I guess everyone's got that, don't they? But yeah, whenever it come to release time, everyone seemed to dig it. So that obviously, that blasted away any sort of doubt with that. So we're really happy with that. So.
You always kind of obsess over, you can hear me flub a note in a 300 BPM riff at one point on this record. It ruins everything.
It is stupid things like that. You hear stupid things within the mix. It's because you've been with it for so long and you hear the fine details of it.
Yeah.
The average listener isn't going to hear, the things that, obviously I'm hearing myself in, within the details side. But yeah, that's cool. It's gone down really good.
Hey, that's good to hear. And I'm guessing Reality Fade's, or excuse me, not Reality Fade, Rising Nemesis. I was just thinking, because Reality Fade puts out a lot of really similar stuff to Rising Nemesis. I always confuse them. So the relationship with Rising Nemesis seems pretty good. You've been with them for a while now.
Yeah, this record's coming out via two labels. It's coming out via Rising Nemesis and Severed Records.
Oh, Severed's doing it too?
Yeah, it's split between the labels, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So is Severed just handling the US distribution and stuff?
Yeah, it's covering the US, yeah, and Rising's doing the Europe side of things. Cool. But we're just waiting our physicals coming because they're lost in the logistical abyss of fucking COVID.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Every day I'm and Nasser has the CDs come yet, man? And he's like, not yet, man. And they're just saying, in transit to the label, it pisses me off a bit, because obviously
I can imagine.
I want some sort of. I just want to hold the CD, I want to hold the CD and flick the booklet and then put it in the CD rack. But it's just a bit, for me, a bit of closure to hold the physical format and CD.
Oh yeah, you can finally say it's done. I don't have to think about this shit anymore.
Yeah, just that, so that, people are expecting it, like, and I do apologize to those people, like, but yeah, so hopefully it lands real soon, like.
I got you. So let's talk about some of the other bands you've been in. We were talking about Putrefy earlier, which looks like it's a band that's been running for a long time. You want to tell me a little about that?
Oh, well, yeah, it has been. Like, I was in Putrefy from when I was 18 years old to like 34 years old.
That's a good stretch.
Yeah, it certainly is. I recorded, I think, about 3 albums, a couple of EPs with them.
Mm-hmm.
Played here, there, and everywhere with them. It's quite a long time we covered, like. Yeah, I left Putrefy in about 2013, 2014 maybe.
Yeah.
And that's when I become Oncology out thereafter, like.
And it looks like kind of during Oncology you've been doing Debridement. So what's the story with that? Because I think looking back, I think I actually heard the first Debridement EP back in the day, reduced to a pile of putrefying slop. I think I listened to that on Slam Worldwide or something a few years back. So what's the deal? Is that just something to do, kind of while you're...
Well, Debridement sort of came to be by accident almost. I had a custom-made 8-string guitar when I was in Putrefy, and it's a big motherfucking 30-inch scale thing, so it is nice. And it was sitting in the case, sort of, doing nothing. And I thought, right, let's write something with this, like. And the songs that's on Reduced to Putrefying Slop, or Pile of Putrefying Slop, is what those songs were. Again, sort of like the Oncology stuff, reverse engineered, like by means of writing the drums first, and then putting music to those.
I got you.
And it's Debridement, sort of more fun, tongue in cheek, a bit more extreme, bit more primal for sure.
Just kind of goofy, gory stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Its influence for me was always sort of like Hemdale, Mortician, the sort of breakdown riffs, internal bleeding.
I mean, that's
grindy or Debridement sort of style parts,
Those are all things that I love, so.
Well, I mean, like, it's I don't even know how to explain Debridement. It was so accidental, like, and I just sort of casually wrote songs, put them out, and went, and forgot about them.
No, there's definitely, like, I've definitely had things where it's like, this isn't a joke project, but it's just like, these are just kind of like the leftover ideas, or I felt like doing this one day, so here we go. Here's an EP.
Yeah, there were just a bunch of songs that there are no lyrics to Debridement. Let's be clear. There's just songs, and those were all one take. That first EP, and all that's one thing I will say. Like the songs in Debridement, like I went up, like, I had my rig up at my parents' house, like, and I would call in and like try and get like as many riffs as I could in sort of a 2-hour period, like really piece those songs. Anything goes. Like, I didn't give a shit what the riff sounded like. This is what the riff was going to be. Boom, play it there, click, try it, record it. That's it. Let's go. Like, next riff. Like, that's how I was writing Debridement. Like, and it's just. Yeah, it's just a mishmash of gore grind and sort of slam, I guess, with a ridiculously pingy snare.
Oh, that's crucial. I mean,
and a lot of breeze and sort of pig snorty, gurgly noises. Like, yeah, I've done an album, 2 EPs with Debridement, so I have, and everyone asks me about Debridement. It's actually quite popular for something that I've put, obviously I've done the recordings, but on a basis of sort of, a musical project, I've not really put a terrible lot into it per se.
Well, that's how it always works. It's always the shit that you like barely work on that people think is amazing, and the shit that you put like 3 years into, nobody cares about.
Yeah, each EP, they took very little time, and to my ears, they sound, they took very little time, but people have always, asked me about, would you ever play Debridement live? Like, and being honest with you, probably, not as a one-man band, because the way Debridement's recorded, like, it's recorded as a band, it's got, guitar left, guitar right, a bass, it's not,
Okay.
It's,
you can't just like bullshit it with a drum machine and one guitar. Yeah.
No, I don't think it would do it, justice. Like, on the sound of those Debridement albums, there's a bit of weight, and I think the, the heft needs represented live if you were ever going to do it. Like, I've never had anyone properly genuine say, here, man, I want to do Debridement, like, but you would need a hell of a drummer to fucking play Debridement stuff. I can tell you that now.
just get some of the guys at Rock and Roll Rex to, like, send you some Germans, man. It's not a
But it's like, the chops on the Debridement albums, I always make a point of making them fucking pretty near impossible to play, because it's like 320 BPM in parts.
Yeah. Just go full Mortician all the way.
Yeah. Well, I love Mortician, so that's a good one.
Oh yeah, same. I love them.
Yeah, fantastic. Like, but yeah, who knows with Debridement? Like, as I say, people always ask me about it. It might happen. Who knows? Okay. But I'm quite tempted by the idea of what I've done, with Oncology and us and the guys, doing the separate videos. Like, I was going to maybe do the same, I'll inverted commas live Debridement fucking song. I thought, because someone had mentioned, why don't you do that with Debridement if you're never going to do it live? And I was like, I might do that. I might. Just could be cool. Like,
well, have you ever seen that one Putrid Pile video he did where he's playing all the instruments in the video just spliced together? You should do something like that.
In the Debridement album, like, fucking I did a band picture, so I did. There was 5 different versions of myself, and it was really funny, like, because where I was taking that, my friend Frank, who actually played bass in Oncology, but he stepped away for personal reasons. He took the picture, but I had like 5 changes of clothes in this house estate, and I was getting stripped off, like, and people out of their houses looking at me like, what the fuck's he doing? Like, and striking these different poses, like, all in the name of heavy metal, I guess. But yeah.
Well, if you're not having fun with it, what's the point? I mean,
well, that's it. Like,
so, so what's next for either of those? Because I know you were saying you're kind of like working on some ideas for new Oncology stuff already. So,
well, yeah, all my brain's always ticking over, man. Like, I'm always hearing ideas and riffs. Like, so I tend to sort of record anything that I think are here and that's, worthy of doing so. Mm-hmm. With Oncology, we were hoping to get out for live shows again in 2021. We were due to go to Russia.
Oh, nice.
In February, and London in the July, but we haven't. Well, we've looked at a couple of shows beyond that, but it's hard to say, man, because
with everything going on,
all the fucking COVID things, man. It's if you're looking at the news, man, it's all ramping up again, like, so.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck knows what's going to happen with shows, like, really. They don't know, like, so.
You can start doing the shitty live stream stuff that people are trying to do, which is just does not have the same effect.
No, it's not the same. But that said, I've saw some really cool fucking live streams in the COVID times. Like, I've listened to some cool things and saw some cool things, like,
I've seen some cool stuff, but not really from metal bands, because, I've seen metal live, not having a bunch of people there, you're really kind of missing something, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you certainly are. I was saying that to actually someone on Facebook, that you pay good money to stand beside some sweaty guy who keeps farting and fucking smell like shit and knocking your fucking pint over, like, that's what you pay for at a show.
Oh yeah, it's about
miss it.
It's about the social experience of the blackout drunk guy who thinks that I'm his best friend.
Well, you'd pay good money for that now.
Definitely. So, so coming out of Northern Ireland, obviously not like a well-known scene there. I was trying to think of stuff from up there, and I guess the only one that's really gotten out and become really big was a Gamma Bomb. So tell me a little bit about what it's like up there, just what kind of the local scene is.
Well, in all honesty, I've been a little out of touch with the local scene, but acts that stand out to myself is like Strangleware, who features our old bass player Ross, and who plays actually guitar in the band. They've got some wicked tunes out. They've got an EP out called The Dark Triad. It's worth checking out. Zombified also, from the Northern Ireland. They're also worth checking out also. Both play some good stellar old school death metal worth checking out. Bands in the south, from Gamabon neck of the woods, good friends of ours, Warpath, who have sadly been in hiatus, but good dudes, great band, but certainly worth looking out for. I hope they come back real soon. But yeah, those are some of my favourite bands sort of on Ireland.
Okay, I gotcha. And then, kind of outside of that, what are you listening to lately that you think needs some promotion?
Well, there's all sorts of good shit out there right now, isn't there? Like, certainly, it's been a good time for Brutal Death.
Yeah, it has.
New Defeated Sanity is very good, isn't it?
Yeah, we just covered that one a couple episodes ago. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, admittedly, it took me a little bit to get into it, like, but it's clicked with me now. Like, it definitely took me a bit more to get into than the previous album.
It's like, a lot of jazz. It's a lot of jazz.
There's so much going on, like, but it's superb playing, isn't it? It really is.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What else have I been listening to? What have I been fucking listening to? Fucking new Afterbirth album.
Oh,
Fourth Dimensional Flashlight. Holy fuck, man. Like, that blew my mind. It really did. Like, that's my album of 2020 thus far.
Nice.
Yeah, it really is. It fucking ticked the boxes. Like, I felt genuinely, when the album finished, I felt like fucking standing up and applauding it. It really was superb. Like, and, Twitch of the Death Nerve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be my number one had it not been for the Afterbirth album, like, because that's, for me, that's just Brutal Death done right. Like, it's fucking shit hot, like. And of course, Tom Bradfield guested on Tumultuous on our album, so he did. So he killed it in that. Yeah, superb album.
Oh, it sounds like you got most of the bases covered in Brutal Death. Is that pretty much all you listen to? Is just like Brutal Death and like old school death shit?
Yeah, for the greater part, like, I've got a soft spot for 80s pop music, like. But,
everybody does. That's not even a big deal anymore.
No shame in my game in that, like, not at all. I'm nearly 40 years old, for fuck's sake, like. Yeah, there's too much good music out there to turn a blind eye,
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, I gotta say, I really appreciate you coming on to talk to me. Thank you so much. Again, to everybody who is listening, that is Oncology's Omniversal Antigenesis. Came out last month on Rising Nemesis. The physicals are coming, but until then, just buy it on fucking Bandcamp. You'll be fine. Just do that. Hey, Connor, thanks so much for coming on, and let's play out with what's your favorite track off the new record? I know they're all your children, but there's a best one. You know that.
Probably the title track.
Omniversal Antigenesis?
Yeah, which you can check out in Slam Worldwide, of course.
All right, cool.
But thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, man.
That's
thanks
no
for the
problem.
review also.
All right, guys, and we will play you out with the title track off Oncology's Omniversal Antigenesis. Thanks for listening.